Hey, listener, you're about to listen to episode 131 of The Roots of Ruin, a Tabletop Gold production. I'm Lars. I'm here with other people. Hi, other people.
Hello.
Yep. Hi.
Hi. So, listen, before you listen to this episode, I want to tell you something. We are going to be taking the next 2 weeks off from the podcast. This episode that you're listening to right now is the final episode of 2023. What a year it's been. We've gone through so much, right? We've experienced so much, so many laughs, so much game, so much stuff has been going on. But you know what? It's over. We're off for the next 2 weeks, and we're going to be back with a brand new episode on January 8th, 2024. But guess what?
What?
You're supposed to... Okay, thank you. We're going to have a big announcement on episode 132, premiering on January 8th. You are not going to want to miss it. So enjoy your time off. Enjoy the end of the year. Enjoy the depths of winter, or if you're in Australia, the heights of summer. And we'll be back on January 8th with a brand new episode, episode 132, and a special announcement.
Well, but
you don't want to miss
Lars,
it.
What's the announcement?
No, you have to... Okay. Enjoy the episode. Bye.
In a quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin, episode 131. My name is Lars Casteen. I will be your host for this evening, and I'm joined today, as always, by our Matt Humphreys.
Good that time.
David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good that time, or in this case, evening.
That's right. It is evening. We've got a rare Saturday record going on right now. We usually record on weeknights. Tonight, we've got a weekend situation. We're going to see if the vibe is different at all. Zoe Chernicoff is here as well.
Good that time.
Oh.
Ooh.
Sort of
I
a
like it.
Mrs. Doubtfire kind of situation happening.
Yeah, that's just what Zoe sounds like on Saturdays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You never knew because we never done this, but.
And Robin Lange is here as well.
Good that time.
Coming to us, of course, from the Velvet Zone.
The Velvet Migraine Zone, yes.
The VMZ. We are right now, the time when this show is being released, this is going to come out on December 18th. And that means that it's the so-called holiday season. We've got a lot of things are probably happening in your life that are reminding you of various holidays. You're probably either having a good reaction to that or you're like, I don't like that all that much. But one thing is for sure, it's beginning to look a lot like movies. That's right. Holiday movies. That's what we're talking about this time on the show. Zoe, you seem to have a profound opinion about this.
I think this came up in a recent episode. My all-time favorite Christmas movie is A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, Michael Caine is at like an 11 out of 10, and he easily could have been like a 4 out of 10 on his effort to act with all these Muppets, and it's just a great movie. If you haven't seen it, give it a go.
I have one sort of hot take, which is
a take you can roast some chestnuts on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with this movie, which may explain part of why I had this reaction, but I watched a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And my takeaway was, it is not very good. if you do not have like affection for this film from like being a child and watching it growing up, it's not funny.
You didn't like it?
I find that movie exhausting.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's just like,
Well, it does have Chevy Chase in it.
yeah, believe me, like 90% of the movie is him just mugging at the camera, like, oh, look at the way I can open my eyes and, make all these funny faces. And it's like, and the camera stays on him too. It doesn't move away and gives you a full 30 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot. But trust me, when it's just Chevy Chase mugging into a camera, that's a long time.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity.
No, that does sound like a lot to me. I think that sounds like a really long time for a movie to just hang out on Chevy Chase's face.
Yeah, dude.
One
I
thing
swear.
do like about that movie, which has Julia Louis-Dreyfus as like the villain neighbor.
Yeah,
right.
Which is fun.
Yes.
Every scene in her house is very funny. I
Well,
think.
it's funny. One, we should have Julia Louis-Dreyfus as a villain in more. We should have her in more things. Just put her in everything.
I agree.
I'm fine with
I'll
it.
co-sign
That was
that.
very young Julia Louis-Dreyfus too.
But the like, what was a hip? I think this movie is from like the late '80s.
Yes.
Is my
Yeah.
our childhoods, but I can't remember. But their like hip, cool, posh house is just like the funniest '80s furniture. Like
It's all
remembering-
Shepard Image. It all looks like the Shepard Image catalog.
Like remembering what that was is a great. That's a very anecdotal because it's all Chevy Chase. It's like Chevy Chase's face is in front of the house, so you can barely see it.
And you know what? I have to say the vacation movies in general, though, I have I don't enjoy them.
I don't want it.
I like the European Vacation.
Well, I didn't realize that these
I haven't seen
movies.
that in a long time.
So, like, I saw Christmas Vacation first. I didn't realize that there was a vacation. And then I saw European Vacation and thought it was a sequel to Christmas Vacation, which it's not. Christmas Vacation comes after. And I saw European Vacation and I was like, this movie looks old. Everything is gross in this movie. And, like, why did the sequel to this movie look so bad? And the reason was because it was made 5 years previously.
Previously, yeah.
And it was already a sequel to the first Vacation.
To the first
movie.
Vacation. Yes. And that movie is gross. Everyone is nasty in that movie. I don't like it. Everyone needs to be nicer to each other than they are in those movies, is my...
Yeah, that's
my
a lot of it,
brother
right?
quotes the line "shitters full" much more often than you'd think a human would need to.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't want it.
Like the
Yeah.
root of so much of the jokes in there are like just that someone's being mean to somebody else. And it just doesn't read as funny anymore.
Yeah, and then Chevy Chase looks at a camera for 3 minutes at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the other half of the movie is that like he's being a horn dog. There's like a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
None of it seems funny anymore.
No, not really.
Yeah, there's this really uncomfortable sequence in Christmas Vacation that's just like, really, this is what we feel about?
Oh yeah, the pool.
Spending time
scene.
with family?
He's like thinking
Yeah.
about his pool. Yeah.
And the lingerie saleswoman.
The lingerie
and
sales lady,
Yes.
that's the one I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. That
it's totally gross. Yeah.
And he doesn't even get to fool around with her in the end. What's the point of this scene?
I mean, not to mention the end of that movie, which is wild.
What happens at
Like,
the end of
there's-
that movie? Spoilers
There's
for Christmas
guns
Vacation.
and kidnapping. He goes to kidnap his boss.
Oh,
No,
right.
he
Yeah.
doesn't. It's his cousin who does.
It's
Oh,
Randy
right, the crazy
Quaid.
cousin.
Oh.
Yes.
Randy Quaid in a perfectly Randy Quaid.
But
role.
like
Yeah.
then everyone realizes it was a misunderstanding and like laughs and it's fine.
Yep, that's the Christmas miracle. You know what else is a Christmas miracle? Is that we are going to move on. And I just want to take a moment to thank people who are leaving reviews for our podcast. It's what helps us get the word out. It's what helps people find our show. It's the best thing you can do to support us right now. And we got this review from Felix Falks that says 5 out of 5 wisps. And they say that they downloaded the Apple Podcasts app specifically so they could leave this review and hope that more people find the podcast and get to enjoy it.
Oh,
Wow.
And
Thank
that
was so thoughtful. Thank you.
that's all I wanted in my stocking
That's
this year.
the opposite of kidnapping your boss.
Yeah.
Thanks, Felix.
Yeah. What if in Christmas
But
Vacation
why are
instead of
wisps the rating?
well, there are a lot lot of wisps in this adventure, I guess. And we'll get to that in a second. But
Certainly a topically, a well-timed review.
absolutely it is. And I guess that's as good an excuse as any for us to move on and get into our game. You're currently working to extract yourselves from the depths of the Abomination Vault's prison level after having sent a denizen of Lange back to their extraplanar home as part of an effort to free Doriana Menhemez from his psychic torment. You've chosen to explore a back passage, a secret hallway exposed during the fight to save Doriana, in hopes that it might reveal some unknown route back to the surface. What it revealed instead, though, was a strange black-walled chamber housing a powerful wisp with the countenance and spell-casting ability of a cleric. After the first moments of conflict, this wisp has called on the wrath of its deity to make certain that you will never get out of this place. I've been thinking about this all week as I took breaks from watching all of the National Lampoon's Vacation movies over and over and over again. Here's the situation. Where we left off, I mentioned that you started feeling the sensation of a spell being cast. This wisp has started chanting the incantation of a spell. And you are feeling the fury of this god reverberating around you as you are becoming sickened and slowed and all of that kind of thing. So here's what I want you to do. Please give me this fortitude save as we see what happens as your bodies are racked with the pain of this wisp's deity's wrath. Robin, how did Trill do?
I'm pretty sure I failed with a 24.
Okay, that is a fail. How did Isthan do?
Pretty good. 18 on the die for a 31.
That's a success. How did Mag do?
Only a 26 for Mag. Fortitude's a strong save. It was a bad roll.
That's also a failure. And how did Ao do?
29 for Ao?
Okay. So we got a couple failures, a couple successes. Nobody critically failed, which is great news. Here's how much damage is coming to you as you feel this divine energy pour over your body, as you feel the goodness in your heart being assailed by this evil energy. That's 18 points of damage. So if you succeeded, you'll take half. If you failed, you'll take that full amount. Also, if you failed, you will become sickened 1.
Did I fail or succeed?
You succeeded. Sorry. Yes. So what that means is that Trill and Mag both are now sickened 1. And the rest of you and all of you are taking some sort of damage or another. Okay, now that that's been resolved, I want to tell you what the scene is just to get ourselves back into the moment here. Most of you are in this like black chamber, which I just want to sort of continue telling the story here. You know, like if you're in a bathroom and you feel like the sound reverberating off the tiles, it's like a very alive kind of feel. Like everything that happens is just like bouncing around the room, right? This is the opposite of that. This room is like deadened. This room is like the sounds that you hear, it's like they're running into the wall and the sound is just getting annihilated. So it's this strange, like very dark, very quiet space that you're in with this wisp, this now invisible wisp hanging out in the middle of the room. Ao, Isthan, and Mag are in the room with this wisp. Ao disguised as Isan Kalir, the denizen of Lange, while Trill is 10 feet outside the room in the hallway. This wisp has called out to Trill about the copy of the Whispering Reeds, the holy text of Nimbaloth that is in Trill's backpack right now. and you get the sense that perhaps the wisp will be particularly focused on her. There are a couple more things I want to describe just to get us back to where we left off. This wisp, at the very beginning of combat, cast the spell Darkness. It cast a darkness spell which creates a sphere, a perfectly pitch black sphere through which no light can pass aside from magical light that is more powerful than this darkness spell. One instance of that kind of more powerful magical light is Trill's light spell that is currently shining from Isthen's staff. So to simplify that, this wisp cast darkness, and then that darkness immediately got sort of overwhelmed by the light coming from Isthen. Then Trill cast Fairy Fire on an area including the wisp, and that Fairy Fire was low enough level that the darkness clamped down on it. So we have like a few different levels of magical darkness and magical light kind of interacting with each other at the same time that this wisp is invisible. So it's kind of a tricky sort of puzzle that the four of you are looking at right now.
It's like a trifle.
It's like a trifle, like a piece of food you're going to eat. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's got the layers, like a trifle or a parfait.
Or like a
Who
petit
of us
four.
is the cream?
So that's the deal. This is like this kind of strange cerebral fight that you guys have sort of stumbled into. And we're going to get back into that fight at the top of round 2, as it is now Isthen's turn.
Do we want to try falling back outside the darkness?
I think Trill's definite plan right now in seeing that the only thing she has against wisps hasn't worked, and now she can't see the wisp, so she can't do anything else, is going to have Trill backing away, also knowing that Trill's the target of the wisp's rage right now.
Oh, maybe then we should delay to after Trill, let her fall back, and then we can fall back and cover her retreat.
Yeah.
Maybe go back to Song Kalir's room, so go north.
I was actually going to just go, because Trill's already around that corner, so she was going to go straight down there and look for another door.
But we haven't been down there, so we could walk into another fight.
True.
And then have two problems.
True. I'm also just thinking, though, what Trill would probably do right now, feeling terrified. Or she would just run in the direction she's already in.
That makes sense. I think he will probably then just delay. And the darkness and like the wisp, or rather the wisp vanishing using its invisibility, I think has just got him on his back foot. And so he's going to try and wait and follow whatever tactic ends up happening in the moment.
Okay, Isthen, keeping an eye out for what happens next. Delaying, it is now Ao's turn.
Ao, I think, feeling sort of thrown off and dark, fumbles around and steps back out of the door, kind of back and just up around the corner, 10 feet. She still has the door is open, right? So she still has some line of sight on this, or where the wisp was.
Yes, although it is invisible.
I think then she had the kukri out in just sort of a like, partly to, pun intended, shine light on the situation, partly just to like see if she can ding this thing at all. She just 2 quick bursts of foxfire in where it was to just see if she hits it.
Okay. So that's going to require a DC 11 flat check because it is hidden from you, but let's see what happens.
Well, it would have hit, but it's a 9, so that, I guess it hits not the wisp.
That's right. Okay. So your attack roll was, what did you roll on your attack roll?
31 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
But a 9 on the flat check.
And that means that you did not hit it.
Drat. And then she screams. There's probably some curse words in there that we can imagine. And she does it again.
You know I'm imagining them.
And that's an 18 to hit and a 3 on the die. So how about that? Is that one hit?
No, it didn't. It didn't really even come close. As these two bursts of foxfire swoosh out into the room, you hear...
Do we smell singeing wisp at least?
You don't. That telltale smell, that delicious smell of singed wisp, unfortunately does not greet your nostrils. And you know that you have missed. And now that that's happened, it is either Isthen's turn or Trill's turn or Mag's turn.
Well, Mag's got an idea.
Wait, why would Mag go before Trill?
I don't know.
Because Mag's got an idea.
Great.
On hearing the mention of the Whispering Reeds by this freaky little thing, Mag remembers that there were 2 items related to Nimbleoth that we came across at the same time, one of which was the Whispering Reeds, and the other of which has been in the bag of holding ever since. So, Lars, I want to get something out of the bag of holding. It's a free action to free up a hand from the Earthbreaker. 1 action to get the bag of holding down off my back.
I don't think so. I think that the bag of holding, that's for a backpack. I think you can get into the bag of holding more easily than that.
Okay. So how many actions to remove an item from the bag of holding? Just 1?
Hold on a second.
I can free up a hand for free, and I need to have 1 action left at the end of the road. I would have assumed it would be 1 to get the bag down, 1 to reach in and grab a thing.
Yeah, let's call it 2 actions to get what you want out of the bag of holding.
Okay. And what she's going to get out of the bag of holding, she's just going to while out with some magic stuff. Because she's been doing her inventory. She knows exactly what's in there. And she will grab the Lantern of Empty Light.
Oh. The Lantern of Empty Light that you found at Volok Azerne's office.
Which we picked up exactly a couple of floors back. And there's a couple of different things that you can do with this. And she is going to do the last one that's listed here, which is once per day, you direct the lantern's light upon a single incorporeal undead creature within 60 feet to siphon away some of the creature's essence.
So if Mag wants to spend 2 actions getting the Lantern of Empty Light out of the bag of holding, that leaves her with 1 action left.
Yes. So I'm going to finish reading the thing I want to do. Activate. Interact. Once per day, you direct the lantern's light upon a single incorporeal undead creature within 60 feet to siphon away some of the creature's essence, dealing 4d8 positive damage to the creature. It's a basic will save for the creature.
Okay.
Cool.
To try and avoid.
And how many actions does that activity take?
I think it's 1.
It's 2.
No, it's 2, so I don't even have time to do it on this turn. Boo. So all I can do is take the thing out?
You can take the thing out, yes.
You could fall back in the hallway.
Yeah. All right, so Mag will take it out and then fall back in the hallway and try and block the door.
Okay. So now we're looking at either Isthen or Trill's turn. Is Isthen jumping into the initiative now, or is Trill going to go?
I think he'll let Trill go.
Yeah. So, as I was saying before, so Trill sees that the fairy fire didn't work. And because of that, has no options for besides from pulling out her slingshot essentially and trying to hit this thing, and that's just not going to be and doesn't know if it'll even hit. And Trill knows that in her bag she has the Whispering Reeds, and so she panics.
Mm-hmm.
And Trill's going to run back to the end of the hall that she's in, that southern hall.
Okay.
And in this, I guess, is she in low light right now because it's just kind of the fade of Istin's light?
Right now, she's in darkness.
So she's in darkness. Yeah. So I think she's then going to kind of blindly look for an out, look for a door, look for something.
Yeah, like with your hands, maybe you can search around for the door.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense. Are you reaching into your bag to get the Whispering Reeds? Or is that something you were thinking about doing?
Well, let's see how this goes first.
Okay.
She's had one action to move.
So first we're moving down the hallway, then we're looking for a secret door.
Okay, so you want me to do a seek check?
I'm not going to make you do the seek check. I think that Trill has a strong enough sense of this, and this door is actually very poorly hidden on this side of the hallway. So Trill reaches around and does feel a door swing open, but again, it swings open into pitch black darkness, and she doesn't have a great sense of what she's opened a door into.
Okay. Does she actually take out the Whispering Reeds?
Well, taking out the Whispering Reeds, because it's in your backpack, is going to be 2 actions.
Oh, so she wouldn't even be able to get it out immediately. Oh, do we still have... We only have one more round of... A Lingering Comp ends at the end of her turn here, doesn't it? Or I mean her Inspire Courage.
It does, yes.
So Trill's then going to cast, for her last action, Lingering Comp for Inspire Courage.
Okay.
For everyone else.
All right. Let's get that Lingering Composition check. Last time was a 1 on the die. So you have a 95% chance to do better than that.
Well, this time it's a critical success at 35, so...
Okay.
Continue to help everyone, and they are, I believe, still immune to, or get a bonus to fear effect now.
Yes.
They continue to get that.
So 4 rounds of Trill's inspiring song reverberate down the hallway, up the other hallway to where Ao is, and into this small chamber that Istin is in.
I could have retched. That could have been the other option. I think this was the better option, though.
Hey, you didn't do anything that really required rolling dice that much, so retching would have maybe been a waste of your time. There are more important things right now. And what that means is that it's Istin's turn.
Cool.
Does anyone see what's happening to David?
Yeah, David, what's going on?
What do you mean?
Your microphone is moving around in ways that I've never seen him move around before.
Oh, it's just this.
You're kind of
It's
doing
just
like
a
a
stand.
Freddie Mercury thing where he holds the mic stand like it's a handheld mic. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he tosses it up and, like, suspends the whole stand in the air.
Yeah. Okay. It is now Istin's turn, unless Istin wants to continue delaying.
No, I think Istin will go, but I need to consult with you, Lars, about something I just remembered. So Istin, as part of his trip into Absalom, transferred his runes onto the Staff of Abjuration, which is cool because it has Dispel Magic on it, so I can cast that whenever I use the staff using charges of the staff. Can I upcast a spell on a staff is my question. Like, my highest spell slot level is 4th level. Could I cast Dispel Magic at that level with the staff if I have 4 charges on it, I guess is the question.
I don't believe so. I think the staff has a highest level of Dispel Magic on it, and that's the level that you can cast it at.
Okay. Although, the spell did... I'm still going to try and do this.
Okay.
Using 2 charges, Istin from his staff is going to cast Dispel Magic on the darkness at 2nd level.
So what that means is you're going to make a counteract check that is going to target the spellcaster's spellcasting DC. I'll just tell you what it is. You've seen this number before. This is a 28, so you want to beat a 28 with your attack roll, with your counteract roll.
You can do it.
All right, let's see. I have 1 hero point, so...
Okay, so how did you do on that counteract check, Armat?
Not so good. I hit a 12 on the die for a 25, which at last count is lower than 28, is my understanding.
That's my understanding as well.
Oh, what the hell? I'm going to use a hero point to try and reroll and get a higher number.
Okay. This is risky. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to try it. 15 on the die for a 20-fucking-8. Excuse me
Yay.
to all parents who are listening to this, but
That was
Fuck yeah.
beautiful.
Pretend AO said it.
So,
oh my god.
Isthin, what does this look like as you successfully counteract the darkness spell?
Yeah, I think Isthin will start by like raising this staff up and pointing it towards the wisp and like closing his eyes as this sort of violet energy starts circling around the staff. And if you look closely, you can see that they're like arcane runes that start glowing. And then it's like a flash of light, violet light, and the darkness is dispelled.
And as that darkness is dispelled, you see this invisible wisp, and you look down on at your own hands, perhaps, and you see that there is this light suddenly shining through from Trill's fairy fire. The darkness was counteracting that fairy fire. So you see yourself covered in light, and you also see that the outline of the wisp, this image of a woman's face with flames wreathed around it, is also visible to you now that they are coated in this light. So that is huge. Giving a hero point out for spending a hero point, something always feels a little weird to do, but it is, I think, appropriate right now.
Woo!
Well, I will definitely take it. Thank you. And Isthin's going to grin. He has one action left, and he's going to say, "It's Isthin time." Wait, does that track? No? Ah, hell. And he takes a big swing at the wisp with his final action. That's a 13 on the flat check.
Against concealed, because when something is invisible and has fairy fire on it, it is concealed rather than hidden. So that beats a DC 5. Great.
And then 31 to hit.
And that hits.
Nice.
Yes, then.
Not a great damage roll, but 13.
Okay, amazing turn from Isthin, dissipating this magical darkness, seeing this now fairy-fired wisp, and slamming the Staff of Abjuration into it. And that brings us to the top of round 3. This is a different situation than we had just a few seconds ago. Only Isthin and the wisp are now in this room that the wisp was in. Trill, Mag, and Ao are in the hallway, either with some of Isthin's light shining on them or in the darkness several feet away. And it is now the turn of this wisp, and what they are going to do is cast a spell. They are focused in particular on Trill. But Mag is in the way, blocking the door.
Also, I don't think they have line of sight to me at all, do they?
They don't. They absolutely don't. You are in the darkness. Mag is blocking the way. But this creature, I think, can sense this book. And what that means is that the wisp starts to cast another spell. And Mag, Isthin, and Ao all need to make a will save.
Ooh.
But they get a bonus, do they?
They do get a bonus because of Inspire Courage, potentially, as I accidentally put this spell card into chat.
Sorry.
No, it's my fault. So yeah, this spell is the fear spell. This creature is magically trying to make all of you frightened.
Dang.
And how did Mag do on that save?
It's an 18 for Mag.
Okay. That includes the +1 from Trill's Inspire Courage, but also includes the -1 from the fact that you are sickened, which means that Mag is now suddenly frightened 3 and
Whoa.
fleeing, which means that she needs to, for a round, use all of her actions to get as far away from this wisp as possible. How did Ao do?
Well, that's going to be pretty far.
Ao had a pretty good roll for a 27.
27 is also a failure, which means that Ao is now frightened 2. How did Istin do?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good roll, 12 on the die, but 26. So I'm guessing that ain't going to cut the cheese.
Yes. Level 3 fear spell rocks. What a good spell. Holy smokes. That was great. And just to celebrate the wisp trying to make Istin even more frightened, reaches out and tries to shock Istin with some electricity.
Oh.
That's a 31 to hit.
Yep, that does it.
This wisp is kind of a jerk. There, I said it.
You said it. They deserve it. I mean,
finally, thank heavens.
I'll tell you who you are by how many times you try to shock a group of heroes coming into your bedroom. So yeah, that's 19 points of electricity damage coming to Istin.
It's a very simple BuzzFeed quiz. You just answer the number of times you tried to shock a hero coming in your bedroom, and then it tells you who you are.
It is now Ao's turn. Ao is frightened, but is able to see this wisp from around the corner of this doorway that she's standing near. What is Ao going to do?
So she doesn't. So the flat check situation is over.
It's not over. It's just different. This is now a concealed creature rather than a hidden creature.
So the check is lower.
It's DC 5 instead of DC 11.
Okay.
So if you wait a couple of turns, I will run really far away from it and then run back and then try to make it flat-footed.
Yeah, fleeing is such a dicey, it's such a bad condition because it essentially takes you out of the fight for 2 rounds. You have to run away and then you have to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good luck, everybody.
Ao is going to try, and she herself is scared. She's still kind of flailing. She is going to try and create a diversion to see if she can get a flat-footed advantage on this thing. So I think maybe like some little flavor sparks start pinging around in the darkness behind it to see if she can get it distracted.
All right. Let's do it.
Boo. Was it 19?
That 19 is not enough to get the wisp to look at these sparks and stop seeing Ao.
And then she is going to do what she does anytime she gets angry and doesn't know what to do in a fight, and use TKP to just hurl small bits of detritus. Maybe there's some little glass shards in the room. We don't know. It's dark. Dust mites. But to hurl various objects at this thing.
Okay.
I guess with the,
As you attempt to target this creature with your telekinetic projectile, you find that your spell flies in a completely different direction than you were expecting because you cannot target this wisp with spells.
That's right. Shit. Well, there you go.
There you go. It's Mag's turn. Mag is going to be running, to quote the famous film Forrest Gump. There's a part where he says, "I was running." Remember that? It's a movie about a boomer that, like, everything good happens to them, but then a couple bad things happen to them, and you're supposed to be like, wow, it was really hard being a boomer. Just in case you've forgotten about it. There's like a CGI feather. It looks like trash. Remember that? Remember Forrest Gump?
Did you like the movie?
I remember he invents the phrase "shit happens."
Yeah,
right?
He does.
Yeah.
By running, which is what Mag is doing.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, which one best picture, that or the Shawshank Redemption?
Great question. A timeless classic that everybody loves, or Forrest Gump? Let's pick it up. Let's pick.
Mag has a Wayfinder. Does that cast any light in this circumstance?
If it is casting light, but right now I don't see that it is casting any light. Like we haven't had that light on.
God.
Do you think that light should be on? Should we be doing Wayfinder light for you? Do you think Mag had the Wayfinder on?
I just assume that it's on
Okay.
all the time,
Cool.
but I don't know if that affects any of the light stuff that was
doesn't.
happening early in the
No.
fight. Or
Mag's Wayfinder light would have been suppressed by this creature's darkness.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I sort of I tend to assume it's the least effective light, but it does something.
So
anyway,
Yeah, so if Mag had the Wayfinder light on, then Mag can see where she's going.
great. So with my first action, I'll run due north up the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
With my second, I will finish running up the hallway, hang him right, back into the room where we first encountered Isand Kalir.
Okay.
And then the remainder of that action would take me to the far end of that room. As Mag is being magically compelled to run through this room, she recalls that the last time she was in it, she was also being magically compelled to do stuff in order to abandon a fight. All right, back through the door into the giant room filled with magically suspended giant bad guys. I guess if she's frightened 3, she might not necessarily run up close to the terrifying, like the room full of suspended dragons and gugs and whatever, mutant scorpions and shit that's in here.
Oh my.
I don't know what it is. They just all look enormous.
You don't need to know what it is to get the picture. They're all messed up.
Yeah. So I don't know that Frightened Mag would be like, you know where I'm going to go quaver for a while? In the
Great
middle
verb,
of these
right?
monsters.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
going to
a
go
good
to the
place to
monster
relax.
zoo and just lie
Yeah,
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sleepy. I'm sleepy. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
So all right, she'll hang a left and head back up north to where we first entered this room, which puts her then, I guess, just 1, 2, 3, 4. So she'd end up sort of in the middle of this room, and that's where Mag ends up with the Earthbreaker in one hand and my really cool idea for zapping this wisp with the other Nimbaloth artifact in our possession, just dangling limply from her other hand. And that's my turn. What a cool game.
Well, David, I've got some good news for you. You are now no longer fleeing.
Hey.
You did
I
a good
head
job,
back to
though.
town.
And at the end of your turn, you are only going to be frightened too, as some of your fear weighs off. So we're coming now to Trill's turn. Trill just saw Mag run, retracing steps nearly all the way back to that main room that you first entered this floor on. And it is now Trill's turn.
Well, I think the most important thing that Trill saw, so when Trill ran down this hallway, she was in pitch black because the darkness spell was still active. And so from my understanding of it, it also, it essentially makes a sphere of darkness. So any light that does penetrate the darkness stays within it. So really, as soon as she left that sphere, she saw just nothing but blackness.
Also, there are just no lights in this hallway.
Yeah, but so she couldn't even see any light emanating from where they were. She just saw a wall of black. And then that came down and she could see glow coming from that room.
Right.
So she knew then that somehow they were able to get rid of the darkness spell. And Trill also knows then that her fairy fire must be working.
Yes, you can see the fairy fire on Isthan from where you are.
Right, because she can see straight down the hall to Isthan. So she's actually going to now move back to that door. And she is going to cast 2 third-level magic missiles.
2-action, third-level magic missile. Or are you going to cast it a 1-action and burn 2 spell slots to do the exact same thing? It's up to you. Just think it over.
Wait, why would it be burn 2 spell slots?
I'm just saying you could if you wanted to.
I'll just use the 1 spell slot,
okay.
thanks.
That's fine. It's an interesting choice.
And that's going to be 13 points of damage.
You get a little bit more of a boost because of your Inspire Courage. So it's actually 14 points of damage as 4 darts pelt this creature over and over again, but it is still up.
And she shouts out, Istin, end this!
And as you get back in the line of sight of this creature, you hear again, Whispering Reeds. And it is now Istin's turn. Istin is frightened, but inspired.
Sure is. Yeah, he's digging deep to, I think his hands are still shaking from because he wasn't sure if the dispel magic would work or not. And so he is going to start tracing in the air with one of his, with the tip of the staff, a sigil for True Strike. Then he is going to enter Arcane Cascade, which should give him 1 mental damage, which I'm hoping will work against this wisp. And then with his last action, he's just going to swing a strike at the wisp, hoping to connect and knock it down.
Now, because you use True Strike, the attack ignores circumstance penalties to the attack roll and any flat check required due to the target being concealed or hidden. So True Strike bypasses the need for a flat check.
Nice.
Awesome. Because my flat check roll was a 2, which would not have done very well. And that's a 32.
That hits.
Nice.
Even
All
though
right,
you're frightened.
21 damage, 2 mental and 19 bludgeoning.
And that is enough for Istin to summon this magical guidance, flow with the power of mental magic all over his body, and then swing and slam the staff into this will-o-wisp, or into this wisp. And you see this light-covered image of this woman's howling face ensconced in flame dissipate and explode into a shower of sparks as you realize that this combat encounter is over.
And just a few seconds
humanoid firework.
after all of that happens, Mag comes sprinting back in the room, holding in front of her the lantern of empty light. And she's waving it around. It's like, I imagine it's like a fire extinguisher. Like a sort of a big cylinder, and there's like a thing on the bottom that you have to
totally
press and point. And so she thinks there's gonna be a wisp in here, but the wisp keeps being hard to see. So she's like, where is it? Which corner is it? For some reason in my head right now, she's talking like Norm Macdonald as well. It's like, hey,
it's a funny name,
wouldn't it? There's some in here before. Where did it end up?
That wisp was a jerk.
That wisp was a real battle axe.
Oh, God. I imagine Trill's taken her backpack off her pack off her back, and her loot's sitting next to her on the ground. She's like leaned back and fought and just slid down the wall as she like holds that backpack and shakes a little bit.
Yeah. The idea that this wisp, this creature that Trill is already scared of, looked at her, showed this intelligence, and then cast spells meant to shake her even more. It's like this is a level of aggression that you haven't seen before, and it probably confirms some of Trill's worst suspicions about what the lights out in the swamp actually mean.
Yeah, I think Trill's feeling very targeted. And this is the most frightened I think she's ever been of a wisp, which is saying quite a lot. I mean, she's been lost in the swamp before, led astray by the wisps, thinking she would never get out alive.
Yeah.
Istin, that was amazing.
That was pretty amazing. Way to go, Arnett. That was wild.
That ended up working better than I thought it was.
Yeah, Istin MVP.
He just beasted that entire encounter. The whole top to bottom.
Well, sometimes going as a generalist works, I guess.
Utility magic is one of those things in this game that, like, I think a lot of people don't see tons of it. I think, like, in our home game that we've been playing for years, that Armet and I play in, like, there's a lot of people doing damage and not a lot of people casting utility magic. And when it works, it is such an important part of the formula. So it's like, one, I thought that was cool. Two, I'm just, like, excited to see it because it shows off something about this game that I enjoy.
Yeah. Also, the Staff of Abjuration is really good, I have to say. Like, if Trill hadn't been able to get that magic missile off, I was going to try and use Resist Energy, which is another second level spell that the Staff of Abjuration can cast, and then use that as my Arcane Cascade to resist electricity so I could get a little tankier against this thing, too.
It's cool.
Plan.
So, Staff of Abjuration. Invest in one. It's great. Buy now. I am legally required to disclose that I am paid by the Staff of Abjuration
big staff
company.
is supporting
Potential
you.
future
Big staff
sponsor.
is
Staff of Abjuration.
If we could get the Staff of Abjuration to underwrite our show, I think that would be
Holy
pretty
shit, that'd
incredible.
be
That
for
would
us.
great.
be pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Would we get free staves?
Oh God, I hope so.
Probably would.
Maybe get some
Do they-
extra charges on them too.
Do they make a hammer
more
model?
charges on my staff of necromancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Staff of Necromancy, I'm a little less excited about taking those phone calls for that particular sponsorship, but if that...
Lars, it is us, the demons of hell. How are you today?
Guys, I'm fine.
You failed to read the ad copy in the natural course of the show.
We really need your feedback.
The dead just want to feel heard. They just want to feel loved. There's nothing necessarily evil about necromancy.
No,
It's
but
just the people who use necromancy that can be evil.
Necromancy
Yeah,
doesn't kill
yeah.
people, Lars.
Yeah.
Hmm?
No, it doesn't. It brings them back to life. Okay, so Trill is on the floor as the four of you start contending with the aftermath of this encounter, and also as the four of you start realizing that in this room, this strange black chamber, there's a crawl space over on the eastern side, but there's also a door on the western side, a small, sort of unassuming door leading off to the west.
I think Trill needs a few minutes to refocus after all of that terror, that flavor fear, and she never actually got hit by the fear. And she could use a little bit of healing while we're in here and investigating this room.
Yeah, I think AO's down to heal folks up real quick.
Okay, I think since AO has assurance
Matt
medicine,
could use a few minutes to heal from the mechanical fear. That was a blast she took for Trill.
Yeah.
Zoe, if you're cool with this, because AO has assurance medicine, we can kind of predict how much healing we're looking at. And I'm going to say
Sure.
that in 20 minutes, everyone's going to be back up to full.
Right. We spend 20 minutes, like the first 7 minutes, we're all just kind of loudly screaming, and then it turns into like 5 or 6 minutes of whimpering, and then like 2 to 3 minutes of sort of placid silence. And then by the end, we're all like hyped up and high-fiving again.
I don't know if I'm going to be amped up and high-fiving.
How many minutes does it take to calculate that assurance wasn't actually a high enough result and you have to start rolling dice?
Oh, that's instantaneous.
Yeah,
Okay.
that just happens.
All right.
So what happens? What are we doing?
You know, I know previously we talked a little about heading back to town to check in on Doriana. But then we got seduced by the lure of the secret passageway, which no one can resist its charms. So I don't know. Do you guys have feelings on that?
Plus now there's this yawning, gaping hole down to somewhere we don't have enough ability to control.
Yeah, maybe Mag will tie the Wayfinder to the end of a rope or a grappling hook or something and dangle it down into that totally innocent seeming gaping hole at the bottom, at the right side of the room, and see if there's anything can be seen from without needing to descend it.
Mag is perhaps surprised that this hole doesn't go very deep. there's a ladder leading down this hole, and it leads about 10 feet, and it leads to a small passageway about 5 feet high. From where you are, like shining your light down, you can see that it extends to the east, but that's about all that you can sense. But it's not in fact a gaping hole. It's like a access hatch or something.
I see. I guess that the art is making it look more intimidating because you can see that it disappears down into darkness, and usually that means that there's a hydra with an open mouth at the bottom or whatever.
Oh, I should have mentioned there was a hydra with 3 open mouths at the bottom.
Okay, I flee.
So yeah, that passageway, you don't know where it leads to, but it is slightly less unknowable than maybe it looked at first glance.
Yeah, does it appear to be going as much farther down as like a standard staircase would, or?
No, it's like a small, cramped little
like a
little thing,
secret hidey spot.
Yeah,
little
exactly.
Hidey hole. Okay.
If you'd like to go down it more, I can tell you more about it. But from where you are now, that's what you can see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go down. I'm gonna put away the lantern of magical Nimbleoth that I don't think I'm gonna need anymore, and instead we'll just be holding the Earthbreaker.
Sure.
Oathbreaker is a sword in Tolkien or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that came from. Yeah, let's dip on down there.
Okay. So this is sort of at the tail end of this healing. Mag crawls down this ladder, and you get to the bottom of this hole, and solid ground is underneath your feet. By solid ground, it's like it's stone again. Like this is a stone passageway. This is not a natural passage. And it seems to lead about 20 feet forward, and then there is another ladder leading up.
All right, so Mag calls up and says, it's just a short, low passage, almost to connect this room to another. There's a similar ladder at the other end. I don't think it descends too much farther down, but rather seems to be a way to connect to another room here on this level of the keep. Is anyone joining, or are we headed elsewhere?
You think there's treasure? Ao says, peeking a head down.
Are we done here, Ao? I can just hold this gauze myself.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna scar too bad.
Awesome, thank you. Mag, I'll come down too if you want me. Can we all fit down there?
This hall's probably just about enough space if we
Well,
stay
here,
single fire.
hold on. And Ao picks Trill up under her armpits and lowers her down. Just put her in your pouch.
Yeah, I imagine like Trill had kind of crawled along the floor, had gotten everything back in order as she'd gotten healed and had calmed down, and was looking down the crawl space entryway, and Trill and Ao does that.
Yeah, Mag hands Trill a snack.
Oh, thanks. That helps a lot.
Yeah, it's best to settle your stomach.
Ooh, hang on. Do I get a snack?
Mag hands Istin half a snack.
Thank you.
All right, should we head back to town? No, let's open this. Let's open this. Wherever on the other end of this passage. I want to go up the ladder up on the other side.
So Mag, Trill, Istin, and Ao head down this short passageway and start to climb up one by one this ladder. And the 4 of you realize that you are inside one of those chambers that the monsters were stuck in the holding cell room. The room that Mag ran through.
Whoa.
You've actually passed through some kind of illusion magic on the floor that obscures the existence of this ladder down into this secret passageway.
Oh.
And you realize that the holding walls of this particular cell, this strange energy on this cell is also some kind of illusion, because as you reach to it with your fingers, it passes through. And so from where you're standing, you're surrounded by other cells with huge, strange, aberrant creatures stuck in suspended animation. And you have some confidence that the cells that they are in are functioning. But for some reason, this cell, this would-be cell, is actually like an obscured secret passageway or secret. It's there to obscure this secret passageway into this room that you just left.
Whoa.
Why would this be?
Lars, would a Gug fit in that secret passage, I guess?
I think it would be a tight fit, but with some work, a Gug could get through that passage.
The thing I can't figure out from here is, has this enclosure been fabricated to conceal the passageway so that you can't tell when someone uses the passageway to go into the room? Or has it been built so that things can be ushered out of the room in secret?
It's a great question.
I still want to know what this room is even for.
Well, yeah.
I think that if Mag takes a look at the crafting of this passageway into this illusion, into this illusory holding cell, it seems like this was all built at the same time. You know, like this passageway presumably was made by the same people that put this cell here. Like this is all of a piece.
Yeah. Can I tell whether the intent was to? It's this probably can't really be a check. I'm just theorizing now, but like, I can imagine building something like this so that you could sneak a monster out of this room. You could keep a monster sitting here that wasn't actually suspended, but appeared to be, and then you could sneak it out. Or you would build something like this in order to like sneak into the room and observe what was going on there without being detected. And those two things seem equally, devious and plausible to me, but it doesn't seem like you would build. Seems like the reason you would make it would be one or the other, not both.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that, but
Totally. It's confounding a little bit.
at first I thought we were going to be popping up in the middle of one of these things and need to like make sure we didn't get caught in it. That seemed like much more plausible to me. But
Can we pass into the room through the you said the walls were illusions, is that right?
Yeah, Isthin is able to step out of this supposed holding cell and is just standing in this large room with all of these different monster holding pens.
Wait, that's weird.
Mag walks over to one of them. It looks like, at least from what David, can see from the art, it looks like most of them are occupied, but not all of them.
That's right.
Can Mag see that there are any that are unoccupied?
Yeah, do you want to get out and walk around the room?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, you see that nearly all of these chambers there are 15 chambers in all. Nearly all of them are filled, with a few exceptions. There's one in the northwest corner of the room that we mentioned last time that is like, looks like it has been burned down, completely non-functioning. Then there are 3 others that are empty around this room. And then one that contains a dead creature, a creature that seems to have perished inside of this holding cell. That is, I'm just going to say, the most upsetting and strange-looking monster I've ever seen in this game.
Whoa. Holy
It's like a nightmare combined with a peacock.
Is it eating its own eyes?
Yeah, it's both beautiful and horrifying.
Yeah, it's got these beautiful blue-green eyes all over this strange sort of like daddy long legs-ish body with many mouths coming off of it. Just a very strange aberration.
It really feels like a Lovecraft thing from space. That's terrifying.
For sure. Yeah, totally.
And that creature is not healthy, is dead in the chamber, but the rest of these creatures look okay.
Not healthy as a euphemism for dead is good.
Can Mag see at the base of any of the unoccupied pods or the one that contains this perished creature? Are there passages into the bottoms of any of those?
Absolutely not. This one cell seems to be a passage, and none of the rest of them do.
Yeah. So maybe, I guess that means you could wake things up in here and then they could get out of this room.
Maybe we should find what that door that Trill found while she was heading down the other way. Maybe that'll give us some answers about, like, because if we know where that room connects to, so like a Song Kalir could have come down this way and gotten into, or someone could have gone to a Song Kalir through the back way.
Yeah, we'll have to come back here, but we still have to get back to Otari. I think I need to take a moment, and we also need to see Doriana.
That's right. In the excitement of this all, I'd forgotten about her. That sounds like a really nice idea, Trill. I think we should make sure she's really all right.
But I think I know where we're going to start when we come back.
Absolutely.
Ao says, and you realize her hand is in this dead creature's mouth, fishing around for one of its many teeth.
Zoe, I hate to say no to you, but this force field is still in full effect. You're unfortunately, your hand is going to bang against the wall of this holding cell as you try to get this creature's teeth out.
So what it is actually is everyone's hearing two banging noises. It's Ao on the one side of the force field and the mage hand on the other side, which she sent around to see if maybe it can get through. So it's like bang, 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 like this sort of sporadic knocking noise.
So it sounds like the four of you are heading back to Otari then.
Yeah.
To round up with Doriana Menhemez.
I really hope she still has both hands.
I know, right?
So the four of you climb up the stairs, walk down the path out of the swamp, down the hill through the forest to Otari. You work your way through the trails leading around the cliff facing over the town itself. As you look down, it's a typical toil day. People are sitting outside of the stores around town. People are milling about. The giant's wheel is spinning and logs are being carried down to the waterfront as usual. And as you approach Menhemez Manor, the door is flung open and Mayor Osif Menhemez sees you and says, "It's you." He falls to the ground on his knees and starts crying. And we will pick up from there next time.
God, I hope those are happy tears.
It would be such an awkward moment to ask for a reward.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.